I'm making this video on the eve of a big day, the eve of the release of the Cruella movie. Now, everyone right now has something to say, some hot take about the Cruella movie. However, when it all boils down to it, that hot take is one single hot take that there should not be a Cruella movie. But I say that they're wrong because I know that there should be a Cruella movie. Somewhere deep, buried in the lore of 101 Dalmatians, there is a character piece, and we are going to find it. Now, full disclosure, as of right now, I have not seen the Cruella movie. I don't know what's going to be in it. I did see a trailer, and you know what? It didn't really seem amazing, but I'm going to watch it anyway because Emma Stone is Emma Stone. So, of course, I'm going to watch it. So, when I make this video, there might be some predictions in here. There might be some things that are going to happen, but none of that matters because what matters today is that I am going to make my own Cruella. My Cruella built from the lore of this world, of these three sources. Source number one, the 1961 animated film 101 Dalmatians. Source number two, the 1996 live action film 101 Dalmatians. Source number three, the 1956 novel by Dottie Smith, 101 Dalmatians. Yeah, that's right. So the person who wrote 101 Dalmatians is named Dottie Smith. Like, that's hilarious in itself, right? Like, that had to be intentional. They had to know. Anyway, let's get on. Um, we have 6 points that I would like to make, and um, I'm sorry, my cat keeps messing up my takes. So, as I was saying, we're going to take 6 core aspects that we want to insert into our ideal Cruella. And these 6 aspects will be taken from the various lore, and we are going to meld that together into one cohesive Cruella. And that Cruella is going to be our Cruella. It might not be the Cruella that is portrayed inside the film that's coming out, but it will be our Cruella. And without further ado, so one of the inconsistencies actually across the different Cruellas is like her origins, where she was, how she was brought up, and all that. Now, in the original book, it's somewhat alluded to that she was of nobility, that her parents' family was prestigious, but that they were run out of town for possibly being the devil themselves. There's also a part where Lucky actually bites Cruella, and it's mentioned that she tastes like pepper. They never explained that, so we have to assume that she is actually Satan. And Cruella's actually married to someone who, what's insinuated that she's actually using him for his money, and um, I mean it's kind of strange because Mr. DeVille is never listed in any other interpretation. Now, the animated film is quite different. Cruella is nobility, it seems, but it seems that she is self-sufficient, that she's doing well for herself. It doesn't really say what she's doing. I guess we could assume that it's fashion as well. She does.
Hey, look,
Descended
Horace!
from a lord.
Watch me pot his lordship smack on the conch.
Money. Of course, that's in the live action.
How's that for calling him, eh?
Kind of like, well, she's all Devil Wears Prada, and I know that it came out before Devil Wears Prada, so please don't go in the comments talking about that. But what is our Cruella going to be? Well, if we look at the 3 things, I think that our Cruella should definitely not have a Mr. DeVille.
More good women have been lost to marriage and to war, famine, disease, and disaster.
I think that our Cruella should be nobility, and it should very much be that she comes from this old money and that she lost their money somehow. And it seems like that's where the live action film is going, but I don't really know. But I like this idea that she does come from this prestigious family. A lot of why I like the idea that she's from prestigious family and that she has her own objectives. I'm going to get more into that on point number 4. Point number 2, the minx coat. So I want to see the origin of this minx coat. And I think that we have a good setup to do it in the movie that's coming up, but I don't think we're going to go there. You see, in the film Cruella, at least in the trailer, there are these Dalmatians who are growling at her. And these Dalmatians belonged to her boss at the time. And what I'm assuming is that there's going to be a scene where she goes, "By golly, those are some nice fur coats on those dogs. Nice coats that would look good on me, a human." And I think that that's probably what they're going to do with it. And you know what? That's fine. They'll go there. But I think that it would be more interesting if she's got this eccentric boss who has these like minxes on a leash, and then if we just get the hint. I don't want to see her hunt minxes, but I think if we just see her give them like, those are some nice coats on those minxes, it would be more appropriate, and it would kind of give us the setup for Corella's like de facto look, right? And I think it'd be more interesting than just, oh, she hated Dalmatians before because of the boss that she had. I think a lot of what Cruella is comes from this petty nature and this kind of impulsive, I can do what I want behavior. And I think that giving a setup to her hating Dalmatians isn't it. Now, setting up the fact that she was impulsive and that she just sees animals and goes, wow, that would look beautiful on me. I think that's fine. And I think that that's a much better move than having her like decide she hates Dalmatians because of her boss. Point number three, Cruella has homies, and she has homies in the underworld. So I think that's going to be interesting. Now, I said before I want her to be like of nobility, but have to like rise her way back up to redeem her family. And like, I don't want her dad to literally be Satan, but maybe he's viewed as like really bad, and she has to kind of work with that. And because she's working the bottom up, that's where she meets the Baden brothers. Now, the animated film does refer to them as the Badens, but you're not really sure if it's because they're Badens or if that's their like actual last name. But I want to see more of that. And now I did see that they were in the trailer, just these two people just kind of chilling in the van, and I have to assume that it's them. But I mean, I might be way off, and it could just be two guys who like chilling in vans. Anyway, though, I really want to see their backstory and how they deal with Cruella and how Cruella deals with them. Because, I mean, we never really get much of that. She hires them and she calls them idiots. I kind of want to see what they do when they're just chilling, when they don't have like all this stress of like, oh, we got to kill hundreds of puppies, when it's just them vibing. Because as it stands, I mean, the Baden brothers are obviously like really bad, but I think there's potential to make something interesting out of that. I think that if we see like how they corrupt each other, maybe Cruella isn't Cruella, and maybe she's just little Stella, and then she walks into the Baden brothers, and they're like, "Hey, girl." Have you ever thought about skinning animals for a living? And then that's when when she's like, well, golly, I've never thought of that before, mister. And then they just start killing animals together. That's really dark. I feel like I should edit that out. Point number four, Cruella's relationship with Anita. Now, this is a relationship that's never really fully explored, right? I think the live action 1996 film actually does a pretty good job of exploring it. And the film kind of just says, well, Cruella is her boss, and you got to deal with your boss sometimes. There's also these attempts where Cruella tries to empower Anita by saying uh, that sometimes we should prioritize our business ventures over trying to start a family, and Anita just kind of goes like, "No, this is a kids movie, and kids are the greatest thing in the world." And I mean, that's a little weird.
And one of these days, my competitors are going to suss out who you are, and they're going to try to steal you away.
Oh, no, if I left, it wouldn't be for another job.
Oh, really? What would it be for?
Well, I don't know, if I met someone, if working here didn't fit in with our plans.
Marriage.
Perhaps.
More good women have lost a marriage into war, famine, disease, and disaster. You have talent, darling. Don't squander it.
The animated film doesn't even say it. I guess it's kind of insinuated that they might have been childhood friends. I read on the Wikipedia page, but if I was watching the movie again, I actually don't know if I saw that anywhere. Now, the book relationship is actually really simple. Anita was friends with Cruella in elementary school. Well, I'll just read it. Why, that's Cruella DeVille, said Mrs. Dearly. We were at school together. She was expelled for drinking ink. Anyway, though, the film kind of shows that Anita is well, it doesn't really show what Anita is, but I want them to be homies. I want them to have this relationship, and it could be like one sided, but it has to be like Cruella venting, like, "Oh, you don't know about all my struggles," and meanwhile, Anita's just kind of like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm, I'm dealing with life too." I know, but stop. You're talking too much about yourself. That's fine. I don't want Cruella and Anita to be like BFFs, but I do want to see some of it there, and it looks like we're getting something. So hopefully it's good. The fifth major Cruella point: accidentally helping people. In all three Cruella mediums, there has been a consistent thread. Clearly, adopting 101 Dalmatians is going to present some kind of trouble. And each of the mediums handled this trouble through Cruella. So, in the animated film, Roger actually makes bank. And he makes that bank because he makes a song making fun of Cruella. I would definitely play that song, except that I would totally get DMCA'd, and I'm not trying to get DMCA'd on my second video. So, if you want, you could pause it and you could listen to it, and you could come back when you're done. But if you need that refresher, I mean, it's all about her. The Cruella theme song. Just look it up. The live action film is really weird because I think that they're like, well, we can't have Roger be a song maker in a children's film. Instead, what do the kids like? And I guess they reached the conclusion that kids like video games. So
That you do that allows you to support Anita in such splendor.
I design video games.
Video games. Is he having me on?
I know he's very good at it, and it's a growing business.
Those horrible noisy things that children play with on their television, someone designs them? What a senseless thing to do with your life.
But as bad as it looks, it gets approved by a master game designer.
Cool.
However, it only gets approved after Cruella has been added. It is well noted that Roger is not able to sell his game until he adds Cruella. The book's a little different because Roger's actually loaded, and he gets loaded by literally removing England's debt. He's just that good of an accountant. He removes England's debt and he's loaded at the beginning of the book, and then at the end of the book, he actually fixes England's debt all over again. And when he does that, he still needs a physical place to move 101 Dalmatians. So what's he do? He buys Cruella de Vil's now abandoned almost castle, which is by the way named Hell House. I don't think I mentioned that, but Hell House is like this doom and gloom building where the devil used to live. But the point is, Cruella has this knack for, in her worst moments, fixing everyone's problems. So I would like there to be like this large supporting cast, and all of them are going through stuff. Maybe there's this orphanage who's like, they're just going through the hardest of times. But Cruella and her like blind desire to topple the fashion industry that's keeping her oppressed, she ends up saving the day for everyone. I don't think Cruella should like purposely help anyone, but if we want to make her a protagonist, she needs to help people, and I think the way to do that is through complete and total accident. And Cruella is built for that. Character trait number 6. Cruella loves to drown. So in the animated film, she does make a quick reference to drowning the puppies. She says after they refuse to sell them that, well, you can't feed them, might as well just drown them then. And she storms off.
Do what you like with them. Drown them.
However, in the book, she really gets into it and she mentions drowning puppies several times. For instance, "But they're mongrels, all white, no spots at all," she cried. "You must drown them at once." "Dalmatians are born white," said Mr. Dearly. "Dalmatians are always born white," said Mr. Dearly, glaring at Cruella. "The spots come later." "And we wouldn't drown them even if they were mongrels," said Mrs. Dearly indignantly. "It would be quite easy," said Cruella. "I've drowned dozens and dozens of my cat's kittens. She always chooses some wretched alley cat for their father, so they're never worth keeping." Surely you leave her one kitten, said Mrs. Dearly. If I'd done that, I'd be overrun with cats, said Cruella. Yeah, so she really enjoys drowning them. And oh, and by the way, they mention her cat in there. It's really cool. Actually, Cruella has this pet cat who she keeps around just because she's pretty and is like kind of like an accessory. And I mean, this isn't mentioned, and I guess this would actually be like point number 7. So let's call it point number 6.5. Cruella's cat. Include Cruella's cat. Make her be spiteful. Make her glare at people. Make her be like, oh, Cruella, you're such a jerk. You don't need to have her talk. But I think Cruella needs her cat. That's been missing from every interpretation but the book. And it's kind of weird because it's a great job to market another animal. These are the 6 character traits that make Cruella de Vil. And that's what I want to see in this film when it comes out. So next time you ask yourself, who is asking for a Cruella de Vil movie? It's me, ya boy. But in all truth, I don't know if the movie's gonna be good or not. I'm definitely not gonna pay for it. I'm definitely gonna watch it because Emma Stone's in there, and let's be real, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna pay for it. At least not full price. Anyway, though, guys, thanks for coming in, watching my video. If you liked what you saw, please give me a like, give me a subscribe, make a comment down below, make yourself known. What do you think is the quintessential Cruella de Vil character trait? What would you add to my list? Mention it below. Oh, and also one more thing. I actually have just reached affiliate status on Twitch. So if you are on Twitch, don't forget to follow me there. If you have an Amazon account, you subscribe to me for free. And that is at Kawaii Wolverine at Twitch. That is one word. So you know what? I'm just going to add a link down below. Don't worry about it. And thank you again for coming in. Okay, but really, Cruella de Vil really loves to drown things. When they introduce her to the cat, they're like, "Wow, what a pretty cat!" And Cruella says, "I don't like her much," said Cruella. "I'd drown her if she wasn't so valuable." Like, she really likes to drown things.